What can I possibly say about BeamNG.Drive that hasn't been said already? This game is, quite simply, a good time. Within this simulator lies islands and cities to be explored, cars to be delivered, and lap times to be demolished. I say lap times, in fact, just about everything can and will be demolished. One of the most enjoyable aspects of BeamNG is its scenarios mode. In here you will find a variety of challenges from police chases, to football matches, economy runs, and mountain crawls and falls. So pop on your seatbelt, not that it'll help you much, as we run through our favourite 10 scenarios on BeamNG.Drive. Now, just before we get into our list, a quick note that this particular list only looks at the base game scenarios rather than those which can be downloaded from the repository. These are amazing in their own right, and we want to do another separate list in the near future with our favourites from there. It's also worth adding that the developers update this list with new scenarios every so often, so if your favourite one is missing from our list, it might be because it was released after this video was made, so apologies if that is the case. Remember as well that this is an opinion piece, so you might not agree with all of our picks, and that's okay. Just make sure you let us know in the comments down below what your favourite scenarios are. Right then, kicking things off with some honourable mentions that didn't quite make our top 10. Get Down doesn't need to give you any further instructions. Literally, drive your Gavril D15 pickup truck straight off the mountain peak and hope it makes it to the bottom. This golden oldie is a great demonstration of Beam's incredible soft-body physics engine for anyone who's never experienced it. Dam Jump is similarly simple and destructive. Drive your supercharged banana down the dam, up the ramp, and aim for the targets. Nothing more, just the damage and chaos we were after. If you want something a bit more serious, climbing Utah is a great place to start when learning how to tackle crawl events. It may not be the most exciting journey across the rocks, but this challenging yet doable scenario will teach you the basics of how to maximise your adjustable diff lock and drivetrain settings, something you will need to master before completing tougher crawls later on. Should you be a fan of going sideways, then slithery drift may warrant a place in your own personal top 10. Drifting on BeamNG can be a strange experience, especially on a controller, but with a wheel, when, or if you begin to hook it all up along this narrow road, it can be highly satisfying. I think. I mean, I wouldn't know personally. Our final honourable mention is a newer scenario called Calamity Peak Spring. This one can really make you feel like you're competing at the Paris-Dakar Rally, or Saudi Arabian Rally, as you traverse across the desert. Again, although an incredibly immersive experience for those of you with steering wheels, this one can be less enjoyable with a controller, as the trucks can be a bit tricky to control with their lack of precision. It's well worth a try though, this may be one of your absolute favourites. On to the main list then, and taking the number 10 spot we have a simple case of Cops and Robbers. Small Island Chase takes place on, well, Small Island, as you chase down a rogue Abishu Pessima in your Hirochi Sunburst. This challenge is very simple, catch the criminal and stop them in their tracks, without crashing your own car in the process. This, however, is one of our favourite police chase scenarios in the game. Firstly, the 4-wheel drive Sunburst is a lot of fun to throw around these winding coastal roads, so the driving experience alone makes it worthwhile. Throw in a car chase in which the robber will sometimes mix up their route, add some hilarious and often accidental crashes on top, and you're left with a big smile on your face, time and time again. Ever dreamed of firing a cannonball at a flock of metal pigeons? Me neither, but why the hell not, I guess? This scenario is stupid and pointless, and doesn't really involve any skilled driving. Just manoeuvre your mobile cannon, which clearly has an electric engine by the sounds of it, line up your shot, change your camera view for a cannonball POV, and mash that spacebar. What follows is, well, a frustrating sight, as your cannonball flies straight past the terrified pigeons, or simply bounces over their heads. But don't worry, you get 4 shots per round. When you do work out your aim and manage to hit that central pigeon square in the beak, the resulting explosion of crumpled metal and plastic is a sight to behold. Very Moorish in fact, it will have you firing again and again until you manage to hit all 5 cars in one go. Just make sure you record the replays with the F2 key, so you can see it from the poor bird's perspective. Ouch. As we all know, all good things must come to an end. Sadly, that is exactly what you're tasked with doing when playing Goliath. As a police officer, your job is to stop the lorry. Sounds simple, right? Well, have you ever seen the 1971 Steven Spielberg film Duel?
Just a little whiplash is all.
If you haven't, by the way, pause this video and come back to me in 89 minutes and 42 seconds. If you have, then this particular articulated lorry and its relentless nature will send shivers down your about-to-be-damaged spine. This truck is strong and the driver fearless. You will need to think of a way to arrest its speed. Sorry about that. Without destroying your own truck in the process. The lorry might not always take the same route, and this challenge is particularly enjoyable as you have to think on your feet to try and find ways of stopping it. This could be jamming your door in its wheel arch, or guiding it into the roadside furniture. Good luck with that one. Or outsmarting the driver and provoking some sort of jackknife. Sure, this may be over in a matter of seconds, but sometimes you can be driving for miles on end. That is when Goliath is at its most enjoyable. Run for your lives, they scream, but which way should I go? This scenario is unique within the current game, as like many retro arcade driving titles, you must drive from a top-down perspective, and attempt to keep your pickup truck within the visible area. The problem? Cannons, ramps, footballs, brick walls, hay bales and metal rails. The longer you survive, the higher your score, but bear in mind that normal rules still apply when it comes to the physics and the damage. If you break a wheel, good luck smashing through that next caravan. Thankfully, there is a way to repair your car on the move. Just drive over 4 of the blue circular markers and she will be as fresh as a daisy, until the next obstacle. And no, you can't break through the gaps between containers. We did try, there were lots of flames. Crawl Leap of Faith should be taken as literal, chronological instructions. Crawl as carefully as possible down the hill, between the rocks, back up the hill, and so on. Succeed in this first phase, and you will be rewarded with a cinematic grand finale. The Leap of Faith. Yeah, I got a bit ahead of myself there. This crawl event takes place in Utah and puts you behind the wheel of the Abishu Hopper Crawler with 400 horsepower that you don't need, 4-wheel drive, which you certainly do need, and an annoying tendency to roll over onto its roof, which you could do without. Challenging, but not impossible, this is a really fun crawl to attempt, and its satisfying conclusion makes it worth the multiple restarts. Just remember to play around with your diff and gearbox settings. They may come in handy when you find yourself stuck between a rock and a hard place. Everyone loves a good escape sequence, and for that cinematic flavour, look no further than Port Escape. This one feels a bit Top Gear. Manoeuvre your 2-litre front-wheel drive Abishu Pessima through the docks, sliding around containers, crashing through gates, firing in and out of empty warehouses, barrelling through barrels, and jumping over jumps. Keeping your car in good shape is crucial to complete the course within the 2-minute time limit. Then, with the end in sight and the ferry, yes I said ferry, about to leave, you're chased off the end of the docks by the police. Will you make it safely onto the ferry? Well, that depends on your speed. Does it matter? Not really, it looks pretty epic either way. However, a longer version of this escape with more obstacles and higher speeds, combined with a more interesting rear-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive car, might make this one even better. Instead, you're left wishing you had another gear in between first and second. Just give me first and a half, please. Wild West Trails is essentially a short, high-speed rally stage, with a couple of AI cars thrown into the mix. The only racing scenario on this list makes it to number 4 because every little piece of this challenge is enjoyable in its own right. The route itself in Utah is high speed in general, with sweeping corners, blind crests and narrow bridges waiting to catch you out. With rocks and cliff edges adding peril, you have to balance your speed with caution. Or don't, just keep it pinned, nail a couple of corners and have a spectacular crash when it finally does go wrong. Entertainment is guaranteed. The car used in this challenge is the 4-wheel drive rally spec Bruckle Legrand, with an old school manual gearbox and plenty of get up and go. It's tricky to master, but exceedingly fun when pushed to the limit, especially when you're using a proper H-pattern shifter peripheral. And finally, the AI cars are fun no matter what you do with them. Try to pass them as quickly as possible if you want to nail your stage time, or push them into rocks, or off the cliff, and watch the chaos ensue below. Be careful though, they aren't afraid to repay the favour. As the scenario is time-based, you can keep coming back for more to try and improve your PB. A nice incentive. Arguably the daftest and most creative challenge on this list, the Autobello Piccolina Showcase is essentially an assault course for cars through the heart of Belasco. This charming, lovable shitbox only has 44 brake horsepower, and you will need each and every one to complete this challenge. Jump through the Ring of Death, drift up and down the multi-storey car park, yes this Fiat 500 is rear-wheel drive, and make your way towards the shorefront. Then, another big jump, and a reversing challenge akin to a Chinese driving test. Make it this far and be greeted with a Piccolina-sized hole in the wall before a final dash up the hill to the finish line. This one isn't easy at first, and each stage poses a different threat that you will learn to overcome. Once you do finally make it to the end in one piece, the feeling will be fantastic. If you're struggling, however, the best advice I can give you is to avoid over-revving. This will increase your speed and lower your oil temperature, two things you will rely on to get through this. Taking the runners-up spot is one of the game's most recent additions. This is also the only one on this entire list that I am not ashamed to admit I haven't actually managed to complete just yet. Freeform Mountain Crawl has one simple objective: reach the checkpoint by any means necessary. Taking place in Johnson Valley, you will start out at ground level, and it's your job to get your SP Rock Basher to the tip of the highest peak. The car is well suited to the task. There's no clutch to worry about burning, no weak suspension parts to worry about braking, just some difficult terrain to traverse across. Keep climbing, follow any routes that look remotely kind, watch for the rocks that will puncture your tyres, and try your best to keep your wheels pointing the same direction as your momentum. When you do end up on your side, try wriggling your way back onto your wheels using a lock diff. Sadly, that's pretty much where my limited advice ends. If we have any crawling experts in the comments section, feel free to help us all out a little bit. The reason I love this scenario so much is the same reason I love playing golf. You take a different route to the objective every single time. It's difficult, and I'm bad at it, but I keep coming back for more, because I believe that one day I'm gonna nail it, and it's gonna feel like a real achievement. Anything else in common with golf? Well, the landscape is gorgeous, the pace is slow, the frustration is very real, and you often end up stuck headfirst in a ditch and need to go back to the beginning to try again. For me, Taken Treasure is the best base game scenario that currently exists. It combines many of Beam's best elements to deliver a challenging and often hilarious car chase. You are behind the wheel of the Solead Wendover Sport SE 3800 Facelift Edition, catchy name, and you are a treasure-carrying criminal. Your job is to get from town centre to the fishing village without getting stopped by the Rozzers. Then, once you've successfully delivered said treasure to the charismatic green circle on the ground, you must escape. What makes this particular cop chase special? It's not just one police car, it's a full police squad, and they even deploy roadblocks across the island. This forces you to be a bit smarter than usual to try and keep your car in good condition. It also causes a lot of unpredictability. As you are the hunted rather than the hunter, you aren't simply tasked with following another car. You can pave your own way to the destination, using any means necessary. Try kicking off with a J-turn for example, and finding your way to the fishing port via the back roads instead. The car is fast enough to be fun, but tricky enough to keep you on your toes. The crashes are often spectacular, and some chases can have you fleeing for miles on end. A bit stupid, a bit challenging at times, but always enjoyable and full of variety. Applying advanced driving and damage physics to a police chase that takes place within a realistic environment provides you with an experience that's hard to beat. So, you've stuck around this long? Well done, you've unlocked the bonus level. If you head into free roam mode and select a map of your choice, you will find countless missions and scenarios to try, some of which are included in the main scenarios section of the game, but many that aren't. These are well worth your time, and one such example can be found at Johnson Valley. Camper Mishap is a delivery mission that sees you tow a caravan across the dunes towards the campsite. Your Gavril Roamer has a V8 diesel engine, which makes it a pretty good tow car, but that's not what makes this mission so good. The thing is, it doesn't actually matter what condition your caravan is in when you reach the base camp. As long as you're still towing something, it's just a case of doing it as quickly as possible. This means you can literally throw the kitchen sink at it, and the results are, well, as you would expect, entertaining. This is of course just one example of the countless extra fantastic missions available, which goes to show that beyond the scenarios lies a world of endless possibilities. I for one can't wait for the career mode to officially launch and tie everything together. So that is going to bring this adventure to an end, but I want to know your favourite base game scenarios in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoy these challenges as much as I do, and as I said previously, I am planning on covering the best repository scenarios at some point, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss that one. There are some absolute corkers. Until then, thanks for watching, keep it pinned, and have a great day.